Jake Morrison walked through the long halls of the Galaxy Council building. His footsteps echoed off the cold metal walls. In his hand, he held another rejection letter. This was the 5th one this month. Each letter said the same thing in different words. The aliens did not want to work with humans. The building around him was huge. It stretched up so high that Jake could not see the top from where he stood. Bright lights hung from the ceiling like stars. The whole place was made to show how powerful the alien races were. Jake felt small walking through it. He stopped at a large window and looked out at the city below. Ships from 100 different worlds flew past. Some looked like metal birds. Others were shaped like long tubes with wings. None of them were human ships. Humans were not allowed to fly their own ships this close to the council building. Jake opened the letter again and read it one more time. The words made him angry every time he saw them. The human request for expanded trade routes has been denied. Your species lacks the experience needed for such responsibility. Please focus on learning from your betters. The letter was signed by Commander Vex of the Zarthan Empire. Jake had met Vex before. The alien looked like a giant lizard wearing fancy clothes. Vex spoke to humans the way adults spoke to small children. Jake hated that tone. This was not the first time the council had said no to human ideas. For 3 years now, Jake had been Earth's main representative. In those 3 years, he had seen the same pattern over and over. Humans would suggest something. The aliens would say no. Then months later, those same ideas would show up in alien technology. Jake thought about Dr. Eric Hayes back on Earth. Eric had created a new type of engine that could make ships go faster than anything the aliens had. When Jake presented the design to the council, they laughed. They called it primitive human thinking. But Jake had noticed that some of the newer alien ships looked very similar to Eric's design. The same thing happened with Dr. Amanda Foster's medical research. She had found a way to cure a disease that was killing millions of aliens on the planet Rigel. The council called her work interesting but unrefined. 6 months later, alien doctors were using her exact methods to save lives. They never said, "Thank you." They never gave Amanda credit. Jake walked to his office in the human section of the building. The human section was small compared to the others. It had only 3 rooms and old furniture. The alien said it was appropriate for a developing species. His assistant, Mary Johnson, was waiting for him with more bad news. "The Kelthani just canceled our joint mining project," she said. "They said they found more suitable partners for the work." Jake sat down hard in his chair. The mining project had taken 2 years to plan. Human engineers had solved the main problems with the mining equipment. Now the Kelthani were kicking them out just before the project started making money. "There's more," Mary said. She looked worried. "The council voted on new rules while you were away. They call them protection guidelines for emerging species. Humans are not allowed to travel beyond our own solar system without special permission. They say it's for our own safety." Jake felt his face getting hot with anger. "They're putting us in a cage," he said. "They want to keep us locked up like animals in a zoo." Mary nodded. "President Carter wants to speak with you right away. She's calling an emergency meeting." Jake looked around his small office one more time. On his desk were papers showing all the work humans had done for the galaxy. Trade agreements that helped alien worlds get the resources they needed. Scientific discoveries that saved lives across dozens of planets. Engineering solutions that made space travel safer for everyone. None of it mattered to the council. They saw humans as useful tools, not as equals. They were happy to take human ideas and human work, but they would never treat humans with respect. Jake's phone rang. It was President Carter calling from Earth. Her voice sounded tired but determined. "Jake, I've been reading your reports. I've seen what they're doing to us out there. The American people are getting angry. The whole world is getting angry. What do you want me to do?" Jake asked. "I want you to come home," the president said. "All of our people. Everyone working with aliens. Everyone in the joint projects. Everyone in the trade programs. I want them all back on Earth by the end of the month." Jake was surprised. "You want us to leave everything, all our work here?" "That's exactly what I want," President Carter said. "If they think they can treat us like children, They can try running their galaxy without us. Let's see how long their systems work without human engineers fixing them. Let's see how their trade routes run without our logistics programs. Let's see how their science projects go without our researchers. Jake smiled for the first time in weeks. You want to show them what they'll lose without us. I want to show them what they've already lost, the president said. They just don't know it yet. Pack your things, Jake. We're done playing their games. From now on, if they want to work with humanity, they'll have to treat us as equals. No more begging for scraps from their table. Jake stood up and looked out his window again at the alien city below. Soon, all the humans would be gone. The aliens would have their precious galaxy all to themselves. He wondered how long it would take them to realize their mistake. He started packing his desk. There was not much to take. Most of his work belonged to projects the aliens had canceled or stolen. But there was one thing he wanted to keep. It was a photo of Earth taken from space. It showed his blue and green homeworld floating in the darkness. The aliens thought Earth was just another planet full of primitive creatures. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Captain Ryan Brooks was working in his lab when the message came through. He was deep inside an ancient alien temple on the planet Kepler-7, trying to understand symbols that were older than human civilization. The work was exciting. For months, he had been working alongside alien scientists from the Kelthani Science Institute. The message appeared on his computer screen in bright red letters. Operation Homecoming. All human personnel return to Sol system immediately. End all cooperation with alien entities. Orders from Earth Command. Ryan read the message 3 times. He could not believe what he was seeing. For 2 years, he had been part of the biggest archaeological discovery in galactic history. The temple they were exploring held secrets about the ancient race that built it. Ryan's team had made more progress in understanding the old language than anyone else. Dr. Zektar, his Kelthani partner, walked into the lab carrying a tray of tools. The alien looked like a tall blue person with 4 arms and large black eyes. Ryan, I have good news about the symbols in Section 12. I think we can decode them by tomorrow. Ryan looked at his alien friend and felt sad. Zektar, I have to leave. Earth is calling all humans home. The alien's 4 arms stopped moving. Leave? But we are so close to solving the mystery. Your pattern recognition skills are the key to understanding this place. Without you, the project will fail. Ryan began packing his equipment. I'm sorry, I have my orders. I have to shut down all our computers and take our research data with me. You cannot take the data, Zektar said. That information belongs to the Science Institute. We have been working together on this. Ryan shook his head. The data came from human analysis programs. Our computers did the work. I'm taking it all back to Earth. On the other side of the galaxy, Dr. Amanda Foster was having a similar conversation. She was working on a space station orbiting the planet Rigel. For 6 months, she had been developing a cure for the Rigelian plague. The disease was killing thousands of aliens every day. Amanda had found the answer. Her cure worked in 90% of cases. But she had not shared the final formula with her alien partners yet. She wanted to run more tests to make sure it was safe. When the message from Earth arrived, Amanda made a hard choice. She copied all her research onto human data storage devices. Then she deleted everything from the station's computers. The aliens would get nothing. Dr. Seven, the Rigelian lead scientist, found Amanda in the storage bay loading her equipment onto a human shuttle. Amanda, where are you going? We need to start producing the cure tomorrow. My people are dying. I'm going home, Amanda said. Earth has recalled all human personnel. But the cure, Sevan said. His voice sounded desperate. You cannot take that with you. Millions of lives depend on it. Amanda felt bad for the alien doctor, but her orders were clear. I'm sorry. Maybe Earth will share the cure later, but right now I have to follow my government's commands. All across the galaxy, similar scenes were happening. Captain Nina Wells received her orders while commanding a human ship that was escorting alien trade convoys. She immediately changed course for Earth. leaving the alien ships to travel alone through dangerous space. Admiral Sandra Cole coordinated the massive withdrawal from her command ship near the galactic core. One by one, human ships, stations, and personnel disappeared from their positions. The humans took everything with them. Equipment, data, research, and knowledge all went back to Earth. The first aliens to notice something was wrong were the trade coordinators. The Galactic Trade Network used human-designed computer programs to plan shipping routes between star systems. The programs were smart and could solve complex problems that alien computers could not handle. When the humans left, they took their programs with them. The alien computers that remained were not smart enough to do the job. Ships that should have taken 3 days to reach their destinations were now taking 2 weeks. Some ships got lost completely. Merchant Captain Theklos of the Vorthak Confederacy was the first to complain. He had been waiting for 5 days at a trade station for his cargo to be processed. Normally, the human systems would have handled his paperwork in minutes. "Where are the humans?" he demanded from the station manager. "My goods will spoil if I wait much longer." The station manager, an alien named Bexra, looked confused. "The humans left 3 days ago. They said they were going home. I thought it was just a vacation." "A vacation?" Theklos shouted. "All of them? At the same time? That makes no sense." On the planet Zenthari Prime, the power grid was having problems. The main energy plants used fusion reactors based on human designs. Human engineers had been quietly fixing small problems with the reactors for years. The Zenthari engineers thought their own people were doing all the work. When the human engineers left, the problems got worse. Power outages started happening in the big cities. The Zenthari tried to fix the reactors themselves, but they did not understand how the human technology really worked. Chief Engineer Mordan called an emergency meeting. "We need to contact the humans immediately. Our power system is failing." "Why? Would we need humans?" asked his assistant. "We are the most advanced technical species in the galaxy." Mordan showed him the reactor readings. "Because apparently, we have been depending on them more than we realized." The same problem was happening everywhere humans had been working. Projects stopped, systems failed, research ground to a halt. The aliens had gotten so used to human help that they forgot how much they needed it. Council Speaker Vektar received the first reports in his office on the capital world. At first, he was not worried. "The humans are having a tantrum," he told his advisors. "They will come back begging for forgiveness within a few weeks." But as more reports came in, Vektar began to worry. The humans had not just left their jobs, they had taken their knowledge with them. Computer systems were crashing, trade was slowing down, research projects were stopping. "How long can this last?" he asked his chief advisor. "It depends on how stubborn the humans are," the advisor replied. "But sir, we might want to consider apologizing to them. Some of these systems are very important." Vektar laughed. "Apologize? To the humans? They are the youngest species in the council. They should be grateful we let them participate at all." But deep down, Vektar was starting to realize that the humans might not be as helpless as he thought. The galaxy was already feeling their absence, and they had only been gone for a few days. 3 months had passed since the humans left. Council Speaker Vektar sat in his office looking at reports from across the galaxy. Each report brought worse news than the last. His confidence was gone. The humans were not coming back, and the galaxy was falling apart without them. The first major crisis happened on Zenthari Prime. The fusion power plants that supplied energy to 12 billion people had completely shut down. Chief Engineer Morden stood in the main control room watching red warning lights flash everywhere. "The reactor core is overheating," his assistant reported. "All safety systems are failing. We need to evacuate the cities." Morden had tried everything he could think of. His best engineers had worked for weeks trying to fix the problems, but every time they solved one issue, 3 more appeared. The human-designed systems were too complex for them to understand. "Send a message to the human homeworld," Mordan said finally. "Tell them we need help immediately." "Sir, the Council has forbidden all contact with Earth," his assistant reminded him. "Then the Council can explain to 12 billion Zenthari why they are sitting in the dark," Mordan replied. The message never reached Earth. Human communication satellites had stopped working with alien networks. The Xanthari were on their own. The trade station at Kepler Junction, chaos was everywhere. Merchant ships waited in long lines that stretched for millions of miles. Without human logistics programs, the station could only process one ship per day instead of the usual 500. Station manager Kexra had not slept in 3 days. Angry merchants surrounded her office demanding answers. Some had been waiting for weeks to unload their cargo. Food shipments were spoiling. Medical supplies were going bad. Entire star systems were running out of basic necessities. "We need those human computer programs back online," Kexra told her staff. "Can we contact Earth directly?" "We tried," her communications chief said. "The humans are not accepting any messages from non-human sources. They have blocked all our signals. What about going to their solar system in person?" "The Council has forbidden any ship from entering human space without permission, and the humans are not giving permission to anyone." The archaeological project on Kepler-7 had stopped completely. Dr. Zektar stood alone in the ancient temple where he and Ryan Brooks had worked together. The symbols on the walls remained a mystery. Without Ryan's pattern recognition abilities, the alien scientists could make no progress. "We were so close," Zektar said to his empty lab. The answers were right there. The temple's defense systems had started acting strange after the humans left. Ancient machines that had been quiet for thousands of years were now humming with energy. Zektar suspected that Ryan had been doing more than just translation work. The human had probably been keeping the old security systems from turning on. On the planet Rigel, the plague was spreading faster than ever. Dr. Sevan watched the death counts rise every day. When Amanda Foster left, she had taken the cure with her. Now millions of Rigelians were dying and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. "Have we heard anything from Earth?" Sevan asked his staff during their daily meeting. "Nothing," his research director replied. "We sent 47 messages asking for help. The humans have not responded to any of them." "What if we offer to pay them?" suggested another scientist. "Humans like money, right?" "We already tried that," Sevan said sadly. "They are not interested in our money. They want something else. But we do not know what." The real panic started when the Galactic Trade Network collapsed completely. The network connected thousands of star systems and handled trillions of credits worth of business every day. Human programmers had built most of the software that ran it. Financial Director Hexba of the Altarian Banking Consortium watched her screens turn red as markets crashed across the galaxy. "How much money have we lost?" she asked her assistant. "The preliminary estimate is 800 billion credits," the assistant replied, "but the number keeps growing every hour." 800 billion. Hexba could not believe it. "How is that possible?" "The trade routes are broken. Ships cannot deliver goods on time. Contracts are being canceled. Companies are going out of business. It is a complete disaster." The crisis reached the highest levels of government when the Dominion Empire's military fleet lost navigation. Admiral Toxran discovered the problem during a routine patrol near the galactic border. "Sir, we cannot plot a course back to base," his navigation officer reported. "The star charts are corrupted." "Use the backup systems," Toxran ordered. "The backup systems are also down. They all depend on human satellite networks for accurate positioning data." Toxran realized his fleet was lost in space. "How many ships are affected?" "All of them, sir. Every ship in the fleet uses the same navigation system. Without the human satellites, we are flying blind." Back on the Council capital world, emergency meetings were happening every day. Council Speaker Vektar faced angry representatives from dozens of species. Everyone wanted to know when the humans would return. "This is your fault," accused Representative Morka of the Rigelian Assembly. "You insisted on treating the humans like children. Now my people are dying because of your pride." "The humans will return," Vektar said, but his voice lacked confidence. "They need us as much as we need them." "Do they?" asked Dr. Kethra, the Altarian science minister. "I have been studying the situation. In 60% of our major projects, Humans were doing critical work that we did not even realize. They were not just helping us, they were carrying us. The room fell silent. Dr. Kethra continued her report. Our computer networks, our power grids, our transportation systems, our medical research, our financial markets, all of them depended on human technology or human expertise. That cannot be true, Vektar protested. We are the advanced civilizations. They are the newcomers. Being old does not make us superior, Dr. Kethra replied. The humans think differently than we do. They see solutions where we see only problems. They connect ideas that we never thought to connect. We have been so busy looking down on them that we never noticed they were holding our civilization together. Representative Vektar of the Kelthani Federation spoke up. What do you suggest we do? We apologize, Dr. Kethra said simply. We admit our mistakes. We offer them full partnership in the council with equal voting rights. We treat them as the equals they have always been. The suggestion caused an uproar. Apologize, Vektar shouted. To humans, we are thousands of years older than their species. We built this civilization before their planet even had intelligent life. And yet, Dr. Kethra said quietly, our civilization is collapsing without them. Captain Nina Wells sat in her ship, just outside the human solar system, monitoring alien communications. Her job was to watch what the aliens were doing and report back to Earth. The messages she intercepted told a clear story. The galaxy was in chaos. She sent her daily report to Earth Command. The alien governments are panicking. Their infrastructure is failing. Their economy is crashing. Some species are facing extinction-level events without our medical help. They are starting to realize they need us more than they ever admitted. The message reached President Carter within hours. She read it with satisfaction. How long do you think it will take them to ask for help? She asked her advisors. They are too proud to ask, replied Secretary of State Bob Wilson. But they cannot survive much longer without us. Eventually, their need will overcome their pride. President Carter smiled. Then we wait. When they are ready to treat us as equals, we will be ready to listen. 6 months had passed since the humans left and the galaxy was dying. Council Speaker Vektar stood in his command center watching the holographic display that showed the state of galactic civilization. Red dots marked failed systems. Yellow dots showed systems that were failing. There were very few green dots left. Sir, we have another emergency report, his aide said nervously. The Vorthak mining operations have completely shut down. Their automated systems stopped working 3 days ago. Vektar closed his eyes. The Vorthak Confederacy supplied rare metals to half the galaxy. Without those metals, ship construction would stop completely. How many systems are we losing per week now? 47 major installations this week, sir. The rate is increasing. The breaking point came when the ancient defense systems on Kepler-7 activated. Dr. Vektar had been right to worry. The old machines that guarded the temple had been waiting for the humans to leave. Now they were awake and angry. The defense systems fired energy beams that destroyed 3 Kelthani research ships in orbit. The surviving scientists fled the planet, leaving behind years of work and millions of credits worth of equipment. The humans were keeping those systems quiet, Dr. Vektar reported to the Kelthani government. Ryan Brooks was not just translating the old language. He was communicating with the machines, keeping them calm. Without him, the planet is too dangerous to approach. Similar problems were happening across the galaxy. Ancient sites that humans had been studying were becoming hostile. It seemed that humans had a special ability to understand and work with old technology that other species could not match. The final straw came when the plague on Rigel spread to 12 other worlds. Dr. Sevan watched helplessly as the death count reached 10 million. Without Amanda Foster's cure, entire cities were being wiped out. We have to do something, Sevan told the Planetary Council. My people are dying. We need that cure. The Council has forbidden direct contact with Earth, the Council leader replied. Then the Council can watch us all die, Sevan said angrily. I am going to Earth myself, with or without permission. News of Sevan's plan reached Vektar within hours. The Council speaker knew he had to act. If individual species started making their own deals with Earth, the Council would lose all authority. "Prepare my fastest ship," Vectar ordered. "I am going to the human solar system." "Sir, that might be dangerous," his aide warned. "The humans have been very clear about not wanting visitors." "Then I will have to convince them to make an exception," Vectar replied. The journey to Earth took 5 days. Vectar traveled with a small diplomatic fleet led by Ambassador Teclon of the Altarians. Teclon was known for being one of the few aliens who had always spoken respectfully about humans. As they approached the edge of the Sol system, they were amazed by what they saw. Human space installations had grown much larger. New types of ships patrolled the area. Most surprising of all, the humans had built weapons platforms that looked more advanced than anything in the galaxy. "How did they develop so quickly?" Teclon asked. "Maybe they were always more advanced than we thought," Vectar admitted quietly. A human voice came over their communication system. "Alien vessels, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourselves and state your business." "This is Council." "Speaker Vectar of the Galactic Council," Vectar replied. "I request permission to speak with Earth's government." There was a long pause. Then a different voice spoke. This one belonged to General Frank Miller, commander of the Sol Defense Force. "Council Speaker, Earth does not recognize the authority of the Galactic Council. You have 30 seconds to leave our space, or we will consider you a hostile force." "Please," Vectar said, swallowing his pride. "We need to talk. The galaxy is in crisis. Billions of people are dying." Another pause. "Stand by." On Earth, President Carter was meeting with her cabinet when the message arrived. "They're here," Defense Secretary Helen Roberts announced. "Vectar himself. He's asking for permission to talk." "What do you think?" the President asked her advisors. "It's a trap," said one advisor. "They want to lure us back into their system of treating us like children." "Maybe," said Secretary of State Bob Wilson. "But if Vectar came himself, they must be truly desperate. This could be our chance to reset the relationship completely." President Carter thought for a moment. "General Miller, tell them they can send one small shuttle to our space station. No weapons, no escorts, just Vectar and one advisor." The meeting took place on Unity Station, humanity's newest space facility. Vectar was shocked when he saw it. The station was bigger and more advanced than anything the Council had built. The humans had clearly been holding back their true capabilities. General Miller met them at the docking bay. He was polite but firm. "Council Speaker, you have requested this meeting. What do you want?" Vectar had prepared a speech about mutual cooperation and shared benefits, but looking around at the impressive human station, he realized that approach would not work. The humans did not need the Council anymore. If anything, the Council needed them. "We were wrong," Vectar said simply. "We treated your species badly. We ignored your contributions. We stole your ideas. We acted like you were children when you were actually keeping our civilization running." Miller's expression did not change. "Continue." "Our power grids are failing. Our trade networks have collapsed. Our medical systems cannot function. Ancient defense systems are attacking our ships because we do not understand them the way humans do. Billions of our people are dying from diseases that humans could cure." "And what do you want us to do about it?" Miller asked. "We want to make a deal," Vectar said. "A real partnership, not the fake partnership we offered before. We want humans to have full voting rights in the Council. We want equal representation. We want to treat your species as the equals you have always been." Miller listened carefully. "What guarantees do we have that you will keep your promises? You have broken your word before." "Because we have no choice," Vectar answered honestly. "Without humans, our civilization will collapse completely. We need you more than you need us. We understand that now." The negotiations continued for hours. Vectar offered concessions that would have been impossible 6 months earlier. Equal voting rights for humans, unrestricted access to all galactic territories, full sharing of alien technology. Most importantly, legal protections to prevent any species from being discriminated against based on age or perceived development level. "I need to discuss this with my government," Miller said finally. How long will that take? Vektar asked. Every day we wait, more people die. That depends on how serious you are about change, Miller replied. Words are easy. Actions are harder. We want to see real changes in how the council operates before we agree to anything. Vektar nodded. What kind of changes? Start by publicly apologizing to humanity. Admit your mistakes. Then change your laws to guarantee equal treatment for all species. Show us that you have learned from this crisis. As Vektar's shuttle left the Sol system, he knew his work was just beginning. He had to convince the entire council to accept terms that would fundamentally change how galactic government worked. It would not be easy, but he had seen Earth's new capabilities. The humans were not the weak species the council had dismissed. They were powerful, advanced, and most importantly, they no longer needed the galaxy's approval. Back on the council capital world, Vektar called an emergency session. We are going to do everything the humans asked, he announced to the assembled representatives. Everything? Asked the Vorthak delegate. But that would make them our equals. They already are our equals, Vektar replied. They always were. We were just too blind to see it. The vote was close, but desperation won over pride. The council agreed to the human terms. Now they had to hope it was not too late to save their civilization. 1 year had passed since the humans left the galaxy. President Carter stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, looking out at the stars. Her phone buzzed with another message from Earth. The public approval ratings for her handling of the crisis were at 90%. The American people were proud of how their government had stood up to the aliens. Madam President, said General Miller as he entered the room. We just received the formal apology from the Galactic Council. They published it on every communication network in the galaxy. Carter read the message on her tablet. The apology was complete and honest. The council admitted they had treated humans badly. They confessed to stealing human technology. They acknowledged that their pride had nearly destroyed galactic civilization. Most importantly, they promised to change. What about the new laws? Carter asked. Passed yesterday, Miller replied. Every species in the council now has equal voting rights regardless of age or technology level. They also created new rules to prevent discrimination and protect the rights of developing civilizations. Carter nodded. The changes were good, but she wanted to see proof that they would last. Have they started fixing their problems yet? They're trying, Miller said, but they can't do it without us. The Zenthari power grid is still down. The Rigelian plague is spreading to more worlds. The trade networks are completely broken. They need our help badly. The decision to return was not easy. Many humans wanted to stay isolated and let the aliens solve their own problems. But Carter knew that humanity's future was connected to the galaxy's future. They could not stay separate forever. Send a message to Ambassador Morrison, Carter said. Tell him to prepare for deployment. We're going back, but on our terms. Jake Morrison had spent the year on Earth, working with teams of scientists and engineers to improve human technology. The time away from alien influence had been productive. Human ships were now faster and stronger than anything in the galaxy. Human computers could solve problems that alien machines could not handle. Human medical research had advanced by decades. When Jake received the order to return to galactic space, he was ready. But this time he would not be going as a junior partner begging for acceptance. He would be going as the representative of an equal power. The first stop was Rigel. Dr. Amanda Foster had agreed to return and help with the plague, but only under specific conditions. She would lead the medical mission. She would have complete authority over treatment protocols, and she would get full credit for her work. Dr. Savan was waiting at the spaceport when Amanda's ship landed. The Rigelian doctor looked older and more tired than before. The plague had taken a terrible toll on his people. Dr. Foster, Sevan said as Amanda walked down the ship's ramp. Thank you for coming back. We have lost 15 million people since you left. Amanda felt sad about the deaths, but she also felt angry. Those deaths could have been prevented if the council had listened to us from the beginning. You are, right? Sevan admitted. We were fools. Will you help us now? Amanda looked around at the medical facility that had been prepared for her. It was much better equipped than her old lab. The aliens had clearly learned to show respect for human expertise. "I'll help," Amanda said. "But we do this my way. No interference from alien administrators. No committees telling me how to work. No stealing my research." "Agreed," Sevan said quickly. "Whatever you need." The cure worked even better than before. Amanda had used her year on Earth to improve the formula. Within weeks, the plague was under control. Within months, it was completely eliminated. The Rigelian government offered to pay Amanda a fortune for her work, but she refused. "Keep your money," Amanda said. "Just remember that humans saved your species. Next time someone suggests that we are too primitive to contribute, think about your dead cities." On Xanthari Prime, human engineers led by Captain Ryan Brooks were rebuilding the power grid. The work was complex and dangerous. Alien engineers watched in amazement as the humans fixed problems that had seemed impossible to solve. "How do you understand these systems so well?" asked Chief Engineer Morden. "We designed them," Ryan replied. "Your people never bothered to learn how they really worked. You just used them and assumed they would always function." The power grid came back online faster than anyone expected. But the humans made important changes. The new system had backup controls that only humans could operate. If the aliens ever tried to exclude humans again, the power would shut down automatically. "Insurance," Ryan explained to his team. "They need to remember that we are partners, not servants." The archaeological project on Kepler-7 resumed when Ryan returned to work with Dr. Zektar. But the relationship had changed. Zektar no longer acted like the senior partner giving orders to a junior colleague. Now he treated Ryan as an equal. "I missed working with you," Zektar said as they stood together in the ancient temple. "I missed it too," Ryan admitted. "But I'm glad we left. You needed to learn what you were losing." Together, they finally decoded the temple's main message. It was a warning from an ancient civilization that had destroyed itself through pride and prejudice. The message said that cooperation between different species was the key to survival. "How appropriate," Zektar said quietly. The Galactic Trade Network took months to repair. Human programmers worked with alien economists to build a better system. The new network was more efficient and more fair. Small species that had been ignored before now had equal access to galactic markets. Lucy Zhang, who had been the communications officer during the withdrawal, was now in charge of the trade network's main computer systems. She made sure that humans had permanent control over the most critical functions. "Trust but verify," she explained to her alien colleagues. "We want to work together, but we also want guarantees that you won't push us out again." The transformation of the Galactic Council was remarkable. The old system where senior species made all the decisions was gone. Now every species had a voice. Humans were not just members of the council. They were leaders. Jake Morrison found himself elected as Deputy Council Speaker, the second most powerful position in galactic government. The job that had once seemed impossible was now his reality. "How does it feel?" asked President Carter during one of their regular video calls. "Strange," Jake admitted. "A year ago they wouldn't listen to a single human suggestion. Now they ask for our opinion on everything." "Do you think the changes will last?" Carter asked. Jake looked around his new office. It was much larger than his old space, and it was located in the center of the council building next to the speaker's chambers. "I think they learned their lesson. They saw what happens when they try to run the galaxy without us." The crisis had taught the galaxy an important truth. Age and tradition were not the same as wisdom and capability. The humans had proven that new ideas and fresh thinking were just as valuable as ancient knowledge. Captain Nina Wells, who had spent the year monitoring alien communications, was now in charge of a joint human-alien defense force. Ships from dozens of species worked together under human command. "The old galaxy is dead," she reported to Earth Command. "This new one is better, more fair, more cooperative, and humans are at the center of it all." President Carter smiled as she read the report. The year of isolation had been difficult, but it had been worth it. Humanity had not just returned to galactic civilization. They had transformed it into something better. The galaxy would never again underestimate the humans. They had learned that true strength came not from dominance but from partnership among equals, and they had learned it the hard way.